You are watching Access LaPorte County, Channel 97. Coming up next is the October 28th, 2024 meeting of the Michigan City Historic Preservation Commission. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
Call the meeting to order, and I want to thank all of you for being patient. We wanted to make sure that we had a quorum so we could continue. So has everyone, let's have the roll call.
Okay. Joyce Dalton,
Present.
Dwayne Hurt, absent. Lawrence Zimmer, present. Pat Matsey, absent. Deb Parcell,
Present.
Dan Granquist,
Here.
Anthony Hicks,
Present.
Amy Bowman,
Here.
Greg Coulter, absent. So we do have a quorum.
Okay. Has everyone had a chance to look over their agenda for tonight? Is there any questions? Also, the minutes from the last meeting? If not, it will stand approved as written. Statement of purpose.
What Dan had asked for me to include in the packet has been included in the packet as their statement of purpose.
It's on the second page.
Kyle, I didn't receive a packet for this week's meeting. Do you have an extra statement of purpose? No.
Okay. We actually sent it out a little bit earlier than usual.
Saturday.
Okay.
Oh, you've asked me to read it. Statement of purpose for the Michigan City Historic Preservation Commission. Historic preservation is good for cities. No, not just good. Historic preservation is great for cities. The reasons preservation is great for cities are multiple: aesthetic, symbolic, cultural, social, educational, economic, and others. That quote is from an article titled 24 Reasons Historic Preservation is Good for Your Community. And the article was prepared in the magazine Place Economics. And then from our ordinance, the erection, construction, enlargement, alteration, repair, demolition, color change, moving, or maintenance of any building, structure, or appurtenance which is begun, continued, or maintained contrary to any provision of this chapter, Chapter 62 of the Michigan City Ordinance, is hereby declared to be a nuisance and in violation of this chapter and unlawful. Any person, whether as principal, agent, owner, lessee, tenant, contractor, builder, architect, engineer, or otherwise who violates any provision of this chapter shall be punished as provided in Section 1-7 of the Michigan City, Indiana Code, Michigan City Code, Section 62-2. This is the purpose of the Michigan City Historic Preservation, so we call the attention of the public, those present in person, online, and watching this later, as to the responsibilities and duties of the Historic Preservation Commission.
Thank you. Is there any correspondence?
No.
All right, then we will go ahead and start with the C of A's.
Okay, the first COA on the agenda tonight is COA 2024-104 for 312 East 8th Street. We're revisiting this one. It was for a replacement of light posts. And we wanted to give them time to see if the original posts were able to be repaired. And so we had an on-site meeting earlier this month, and a skilled metal repair person came to visit that could fix that. It was a good meeting because he's part of a historic preservation commission in Belvedere, Illinois. So that was really interesting. And he volunteered to do it at a very reasonable price because he understands what we're working with. So they've been in conversation. Kyle got an email today from the contractor. He said, and just for reference, when we were out there, the contractor said probably around $1,000. He couldn't really say without taking him back and really, delving into it, but just first glance, he would say that. And so the email from the contractor says, "Hi, I do not have a final cost yet, so no decisions have been made. Just so you know, the $1,000 he verbally quoted was only his labor. It did not include material, powder coating, electrifying it, etc. Going to be considerably more than $1,000 per post." But it doesn't say, yes, we're going with it, or no, we're not. So I don't know. I still feel it's the way that it should go. I mean, there's not that much, and the repair person was very optimistic about it, that they were in quite good shape, he felt. I think better than he expected. So definitely will need to be some repairs, but it's not like we're asking him to rebuild. So that's really all we know at the moment. So not much nothing to vote on that one. So that's the first one. The second one is for 220 East 8th Street. Again, we're revisiting from last month. This was one for replacement windows, and we gave them a 30-day extension to determine if the existing windows were beyond repair. And I personally have not heard anything. Have you?
Yes, there had been an email that had been forwarded to me. The
Okay.
contractor is here, as well as proposing windows, as well as giving a little more detail as to
Okay,
the windows.
okay, so
Yeah.
come ahead, please. And I may have got copied on that. I've been
You
at
are-
preservation conference for the last week, so I'm a little out of touch. So sorry about that.
How y'all doing?
Hi.
All right, this definitely has been a little challenge for us. Me and Ms. Purcell, Kyle, we have been out to the property, looked at the windows, very in poor shape. We did reach out to a couple of people to see if we can actually rebuild the windows, because that's what it would take. The owners, looking at the efficiency of a newer window, which basically would be keeping also with the aesthetic style of the historic. That's one of the main purposes, and we understand that. So keeping the same size, light style of the windows, being double hungs, but doing what we suppose, doing a clad window, which is should be approved for the historic, with the internal being original wood, and then the outside being cladding all from there. We told that that's been used multiple times in the historic district, and is acceptable when you have no other alternatives. So I did submit over emails to you with the windows, the specs, and everything off on that. We're really hoping to get a decision, because we are trying to move as fast as we can, because the winter is soonly approaching. But for what we looked at and everything that we can try to turn and see what would be a vital situation, because of course these windows cost more than the original quote we gave them for the vinyls. The vinyls would not be approved. So we understand that. So this is our next alternative, because even if putting a cost on there, have somebody repair the windows, we may be talking $2,000 per window. So it is a point where finances does play a very factor in here. So we do have the homeowners on board with the new cost for the updated windows. So we just need to get an okay and say we can move forward with that, because they're already ready to move forward with our next step, within the circumstances.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions?
Do you want me to try to quickly go upstairs and print what I can from that email?
No, I think we would trust your judgment.
Okay.
What type of windows? You said they're wood clad,
Yeah,
clad with
I do have-
aluminum
I
or?
do have a
clad with-
spec sheet on here as
Oh,
well.
perfect.
They're by J Win.
Oh, yeah.
They're M5 5500 series. So again, with a double pane, but again, with the internals being natural wood,
Mhm.
outside being, with the cladding off on there being white. Not changing the color, like I said, not altering the openings. But again, keeping with the aesthetics of the historic view and the original style of the windows. So I just made sure that was very being expressed on if that change would be approved based off on that, knowing that you're going to see exactly what was there maybe 100 years ago visually,
Right.
but a newer material.
Okay. Yeah, that's Geldwin clad windows are ones, they're not specifically on our list, but I've had some experience with them. We've approved them in other communities. I know what they look like. In fact, I was just looking at some a week ago Saturday, so in the store where they were selling them just to see how they're put together and that sort of thing. So I think they would be an acceptable replacement. I think the big thing is, just that they're same size and same style.
Do we care about it being a 3 or 4/1? Like,
They should
the
be
somewhat we
whatever's
saw.
there now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And-
and they all are even divide, double hung. So like I said, I do have representation of that. And it's also in your email, but they are
Okay.
truly even divide, double hungs.
And I saw in the store that the Geldwin does have the exterior. It's not the grids between the glass.
Nope, all
Yep.
visible, no grids. Like I
Yep.
said, again, with the newer features with the tilt out cleaner courses, as always necessary with your higher up, but definitely keeping with the aesthetics historical.
Any other questions? Can we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Thank you.
On the first one, I don't know that we've got anything to vote on, do we?
I
Or do
mean,
we just let it,
I
do we
mean, if we,
deny it because it's,
yeah, I mean, if we don't deny it or approve it, then by
That's true.
ordinance, then it's approved by
yeah,
default.
that's true. We should vote to deny it and then he can come back with a new COA for whatever. Yeah.
I make a motion to deny it.
Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
I,
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Thanks for catching that, Dan.
Yes.
Okay, now. Another revisit. This is 401 East 7th Street. And so this was for the garage. And this was just for the siding, right? That we didn't approve, or do we give all?
It was the siding.
Do we approve anything? I don't remember that part.
The gentleman's here.
Yes, so it was for, yeah, essentially.
Because the siding was textured.
Yeah, it was the siding and then the batten board, the board and batten.
Correct, yes.
And then I think that was the main pieces of concern.
Yeah, I believe it was, sorry, I'm JT McDermott. I help run the siding department at JB West. So I'm here on behalf of the Willoughby family. It's my understanding it was approved on condition that we would change the texture from wood grain to smooth.
Mhm.
That sounds right. Mhm.
Yeah.
So is that possible?
It is, however, because of the way that James Hardy puts together their product collections, and just so you know, I've been with JB West since Memorial Day, basically.
Okay.
Prior to that, I was the
Mhm.
James Hardy rep.
Oh,
so-
you should know the product.
I'm the guy, if you have any questions about that sort of thing, but
Good.
basically, it's a part of a different product collection. For what the homeowner has agreed to or is contracted for is from what James Hardy calls their statement collection. So it's their most popular items, they mass manufacture it. If we switched it to be smooth, it would then move into what they call their dream collection, which is in essence made to order. They don't even schedule it to be manufactured until we submit the order to them. So it comes at a much higher price and has much longer lead times. But it would be about a 30% increase in cost for the homeowner to go to smooth siding instead of cedar mill. So
And that's for both the horizontal and the board and batten.
it's actually just for the lap siding, so just for the horizontal.
Okay.
They do have, I actually have product catalogs with me if you guys would like to see. Is that okay? Kind of pass those out.
That's right. Oh, thank you.
So on page 19, it gives a really nice breakdown of the different product collections for the different sizes of their plank product. And then on pages 8 and 9, it gives a breakdown of their statement collection. I've been lucky enough in my time with James Hardie, I was able to work with several municipalities and help their historic design standards committees develop legislation and things, covenants and things like that to help make sure that they're preserving their historic areas. I'm also a resident of LaPorte. I'm a member of the Redevelopment Commission in the city of LaPorte, and I sit on the Downtown Design Standards Committee as well. So I have a lot of empathy for where you guys are at and what you guys are trying to do. But I also want to make sure I'm doing what's best by the homeowner as well, because it would be a significant increase in cost for them. In my experience, going with even the wood grain texture, specifically from James Hardie, it tends to be really smooth and you're not going to notice it from the street most of the time. It's going to help maintain the historic aesthetic. And specifically when it comes to preservation, when they pre-finish it in their factory, it is over 400% better adhesion than anything that's painted out in the field. So it's not something that the homeowner is really going to have to maintain as well.
Does anyone have any questions?
Sounds like you said that there might be some initial extra cost up front, but over the long haul, there'll be some potential savings, maintenance and so forth. That way, some benefits for this.
With the James Hardie product, yes. Between the Statement and Dream Collection, no. They're both manufactured the exact same way, so they would have the same benefits. One of the things Mr. Willoughby, when I first started interacting with him, he pointed out a few different homes in his neighborhood that are all within the historic district as like design inspiration. And he told me he wanted to do this sort of element from that house or this sort of element from this house. So all three of those addresses are inside the historic district. I can provide those for you if you'd like, but they have LP SmartSide, which is not the same as James Hardie. But it is, they're both very, very close and they're the main competitors for each other. But all three of those houses do have the wood grain texture on them as well.
I know LP SmartSide had pulled their smooth off the market about 2 years ago. And so it wasn't available. It wasn't an option for a while. So I know some did get approved just because smooth wasn't available.
Sure.
So I know specifically 802 Cedar, I know that house was that one. And there may have been a couple others too. So that might feed into that. I mean, I know it's a good product. The only thing is the guidelines say smooth. So that's, you know,
Sure.
I look at it as I'm just comparing to the guidelines. So in that aspect, it's not smooth. On the other hand, this is not a historic building either. So, you know, I don't know, the guidelines just say smooth. So that's up to you guys. I can't go beyond that.
Well, I think you just nailed it. I mean, it's not a historical building.
Yeah.
So I don't see if it's not something that's going to be present to no one's going to walk by and go, oh my gosh, that doesn't fit in the historical district. I don't think that's going to happen. And if it's a matter of 30% and all of that, I don't see why we don't approve it. That's my opinion.
Do you want to make a motion?
Not sure. Larry might have something to say. No?
Nope.
You're good?
Mhm. Mhm. Yes.
Yeah,
That's a picture of it
that's
there. That faces the street and then the sides and back. It's houses on the corner. It's
Yeah,
big
this
brick
is a detached
two-story.
garage at the
Right.
rear, faces the side
There
of the
it
street.
is.
Yeah,
There.
yeah,
You
there's
see
the
behind.
back side.
Yeah.
So the majority of the side, street facing side really doesn't have much siding on it. It's mostly on the sides and back.
Yeah.
I mean, all right, I'll make a motion that we accept it and go with your I'm saying it all wrong, of course.
Proposal.
What?
Proposal.
We are gonna say yes, I'm gonna say yes, we accept your proposal.
Do we have a second?
Madam Chairman, may I speak?
Uh-huh.
I think it would be helpful if you would add the number or the address or even both to a motion every time, because that's what's getting recorded. And I think it would be much easier to keep track of those.
Thank you. Yes, thank you, Amy.
All right. I make a motion that we accept the proposal for
401.
401 7th Street.
Aren't we approving the certificate of appropriateness? Isn't that what we want to say? We're
Okay.
approving the.
Oh, I think
the
Mr.
certificate.
Hale was just asking for the address and I don't have a number on my.
I don't either.
The COA,
Thank you.
It's just that it's not, wouldn't be appropriate
Sorry,
to say
yeah.
that we're accepting the proposal because we're not.
Make a
We're-
motion
we're-
for approval
I make a-
Approval of the,
of COA
Of the COA.
2024-118.
Okay, I make a motion that we accept or make an approval for COA. I don't have my glasses on. I'm so sorry. 2024-118, 401 East 7th Street.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Thank you.
thank you.
Okay, so enough of the reviews, on to new stuff here. First time around, this is 2024-127, COA 2024-127. The applicant is Caleb Caldwell. Property is 431 East 7th Street. That's the house up there in the photo. It's in the Elston Grove Local and National Historic Districts, rated contributing, a gable front built around 1880. So the proposed project has, the application has 3 parts: paint the house white, move the fence, that portion has already been approved by staff. And lastly, to add a gable to the back side of the house. The finding of fact,
Is there anybody here representing this home?
the finding of fact, white is an appropriate paint color for the historic district, but it is not on the color palette that you pre-approved. Trim will not be painted. The proposed dormer is at the rear of the building and will not be visible from the street. The dormer meets the historic district guidelines for design and location. So the recommended motions are approval of the paint and the dormer addition as submitted. So if you look, he submitted information here about the gable addition, what it'll look like, and that it's in the back and not visible from the street, from the front. And it allows headspace. They don't have enough headspace at the top of the stairs, so that's why they're asking for that.
Any other questions?
Yeah, so shouldn't we not require some kind of an architectural drawing of an elevation of that side of the building that's going to have the new dormer on it? I don't think it's appropriate to just approve something like a red square on the drawing. I mean, I'm not so concerned about the inside, but the other drawing here of just this. It doesn't show us any detail.
You're
So I'm-
talking about that one, Larry?
Well, I don't know what that is. That's just a
Think it's-
photograph from something else. That's not,
I think there's maybe another one back.
yeah,
Yeah,
that,
there.
that doesn't show us anything. But you're saying because it's in the back, we're not so concerned about the way it's going to turn out, the way it's going to look?
We generally don't hold it to quite the level of scrutiny, but he could submit a better drawing. I think you can reasonably ask for that. I mean, it doesn't have to be an architect's drawing, but it could be a drawing with more detail of like how it's going to be trimmed out, what siding is going to look like, size of the window, pitch of the roof. That could be done by hand, I would think, quite easily. We're not looking for architectural level, but I think it could be sketched out. You could reasonably ask for that. Mhm.
Do we have a motion?
I make a motion to approve COA 2024-127, 431 East 7th Street, with a condition that they submit a revised drawing, so that we can see have a better understanding.
Do you want that at the next meeting or do you want that to go to staff?
I would be fine with it going to staff.
Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
I,
Aye.
Opposed, same. Thank you.
Okay, the next one, regardless of what the staff report says, is COA 2024-130. I put the wrong number on there accidentally, so I'm sorry. That is for the property at 218 East 8th Street. Applicant is Candace Nelson. It is also in the Elston Grove Local and National Historic Districts, rated contributing. So the description of the proposed project is replacing the current window. So if you look at this, you see the door there, and then to the right of that, underneath the second floor window, replacing in that area with a simulated divided light French patio door with side lights. And there's in the application, I think there's a picture of that. Trim to match the existing doors and windows on the house. And then we've had further conversation, and she had said, can we go back to the side view again? That's the front, just in case you want to know. Yeah, there's the side view. So you can see that a door had been closed up once upon a time. So positioning, she's talking centering it on the wall and possibly removing the non-original door that is to the left of that. And centering that on the wall. So that's the proposed project. So the finding of fact, the proposed door location is on the alley side of the house. French doors are generally only recommended for the rear facade. However, that's not possible on this house as the second floor stairs are along the rear wall. The door window and proportions, proposed window and door proportions, are not reflective of the period and do not relate to the overall design or proportions of the house, which is something the guidelines ask for. The previously approved side deck, which you approved earlier this year, would need to be larger to accommodate this new door, which says it has a 101 3/4 inch wide opening, and the deck was 8 foot wide, I think, that was approved. So the recommended motion is denial of French doors. Recommendation for replacing the window with a new window for better lighting for the kitchen inside, or if a door is needed, a single full glass door without side lights or interior grids, both of which were on the proposed door, installed in the existing window opening. That would be recommended to keep that symmetry of that wall, that side of that wall, because there's a second floor window looking at something directly beneath it would keep that. If you want to, could you go back to the side view again, please? Maybe the very first. That one. Thank you.
Can I say something?
Yep, sure.
Okay, first, my name is Candace Adams.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's Adams.
I don't know where
It
that
was,
came
it
from.
was Nelson, but it's
Oh.
Adams.
Okay.
And I'm almost afraid to ask. I kind of feel like that statement was scared at me. No, I'm just, the statement that Dan read in the beginning
Oh.
about altering. But no, in the email, I did share with Deb, right?
Right.
That if we needed to remove the side lights, we could do that. That patio, that French door that I chose was the larger door. I could get a smaller door, also. But we just feel that a French door coming off that deck would be very nice. Give a definite, and it is, we did choose a door in the historic era. Would give it a very nice look with that deck on the side. We also, that door is not original. You know, when they made it a 2-unit, they put that door in there. So we would like to remove that door and just put the French door in there and just wood it. Put the, because we're going to paint the house, we're not going to do siding, but put the wood and the trim similar to what's there on the house. And then we don't, I think I did hear something about the grids. We don't have to do that. You know, if you guys would approve a French door, we could do a solid door. If you approve the side lights, that would be wonderful. But if we just have to do a door, we could do a door also, French door.
So are you talking about one that you would open to come in or one that would slide?
No, it opens. That sliders are patio doors. This is a French door that you gotta, you know.
I have that at my house, but just one side opens. Is
Mhm.
that what you're talking about?
Mhm.
Are there any questions for Ms. Adams?
Yeah, so I'll just repeat what I said in the last petition. It would be very helpful for in your case, especially if you could provide some kind of a drawing indicating what's there now and what you want to add, what do you want to change, where you want to put a door, where do you want to put a window, whatever.
Okay.
Because just talking in abstract terms and looking at what's there doesn't help us know what the end result is going to look like.
So I have a question. When you guys were talking about the dimensions, because I gave you an 80, well, the patio door is 80, but the side lights gave it that
Okay,
extra.
that makes it.
So
that's
if
the
I just
total
did the
unit.
80 patio door with a drawing, I mean, a French door, would that be okay?
I would not recommend, I mean, French doors are not typical on the sides of any of these historic homes like this, so
But it is up an alley, because I heard you
it
guys
is on an
talking.
alley. That part is
I
true.
heard you guys
That part,
talking.
number one is correct. Proposed
I-
door location is on the alley.
I did hear that.
But
but-
door, window, and proportions are not reflective of the period, and that's also in the
I
guidelines.
do, but that's why the board can say, as long as it, you know, so if you would approve it and give me a condition that the drawing, the spec is acceptable, because I could definitely do that. With that, are you gonna say it's okay to take that door out?
Yeah, we can't say what we're gonna do
Okay.
until you show us what you are proposing.
Okay,
And then it might be helpful to have a backup plan.
okay,
You know, show us what you would like and then show us what the guidelines require.
okay,
Consider that, because if you can make what the guidelines require work with what you would like, then that's better for everybody, because then you're doing something to help maintain the historical accuracy of your house, which helps the neighborhood.
okay.
Are there any other questions? So Larry, would you like to make a motion?
Yes, I would like to propose, or my motion would be that for the COA 2024-130, 218 East 8th Street, that we provide an extension until next month. Assuming a month is enough time for you. I don't know, but we'll
I mean,
give
I
you-
don't kind of have a choice, right?
we'll give you another month and then you can come back next month. So an extension.
Okay, What about the deck? Because that was already approved.
Well, then you should show the deck on the drawing also. Show us what the whole thing is going to look like when it's completed.
I mean, the deck's been approved.
The-
and an
the deck's been
8x8 deck has already been approved, but if it needs to be larger.
Oh,
include
okay,
that.
I
Yeah,
see what you're saying
yeah.
now. Okay. All right.
So,
And then the only reason we're asking you to do this is because it helps your case. You can sell it if you can show us what it is you want.
No, I understand. I
Okay.
do.
Yeah.
I understand.
Okay.
Yeah, it's better to see
Mhm, right.
versus just kind of imagining.
Right.
I know what I vision,
What you
but to
want.
put it on paper for you guys, I get that.
Right. Correct.
Can I ask Deb real quick? What would you suggest to her? I mean, obviously she's not putting the deck on the back of the house. So,
Right,
but she
no.
still wants the deck aspect of being able to open the French doors and go out to the deck. So what would your suggestion be if it's
That-
not gonna, if that's not the
a single door, I would buy a
single door? Okay.
but it's the double door just.
So
it
let me ask
doesn't
this.
fit on the
Let me ask
side.
you this.
Right.
If
Okay.
I got a single door with, because I saw this,
With
with
sidelights.
sidelights.
That's coming.
Honestly, I went out there to, what's the place in back of Hacienda, and they had this huge estate sale. And this family, they had a single door, and it had the sidelights, and I was like, huh, okay. So,
Get us a picture. I'd say that would be an easier sell than French doors with sidelights. I
okay,
will say that.
I'll give both. I'll try
Okay.
to do both.
But-
And
Okay.
I have a question for staff, because you have a recommended motion for denial and approval of different aspects.
Right.
So if the motion were to approve the staff recommendation, but offer the alternative, if she wants to provide some additional information for next month, or just leave it and ignore the staff approval here? I'm just asking to clarify what you want to do here.
Yes, it should be brought back to us next month. Because I think this is a fairly complex change that she's making, and it involves a lot of different elements. So I think we should all review it.
So Candace, there's not, how do you get out that back door?
well, there was a porch, a small little porch there, but it became a hazard, so we just tore it down. When we're going in and out to do our gutting right now, and that's because we're doing on the interior, we just use the front door
Okay, so the deck is going to be
on the side of that house.
like where the two windows are to the right of the,
No. It's gonna be where that door is and that boarded up window. Because there was already an existing kind of something there.
so there is enough room between that and the street.
Oh, yeah,
the
Kyle
alley.
came out. I don't know who, but I know maybe you two, Kyle and Dick.
Just, I think just you on the
It
measure.
was just me on the measuring.
Yeah, he made me shorten it because I did have it kind of hitting right to the alley.
Okay,
And he said, no, you gotta bring it up because we still need so much room from the alley to the,
right. Okay,
so that's how we got to the 8 feet, I
Yes.
think. Yeah.
thank you. Thank
Okay.
you. Any other questions?
Yeah, so is your goal with the door just to get more light into the house? Is that what you're looking for? Is
Yeah.
what room,
It's better. It
what
looks-
room is it going into?
That's the kitchen right there.
Okay, so it's just coming from the kitchen. It's not like it's a living room or something.
No, the living room is on the front end of the house, and you'll see me in a little bit about a different window for that. So let's just,
Okay, so your goal is to get more light into the house. Is that what you're looking
light,
for?
better, and it just gives it a better look too.
So the
yeah.
door can be it can have glass in it.
It could, it could,
Okay,
the door, but like if I had to do a door, I would ask for those nice size side lights that could come with the door. I mean, a regular door, like you would have to see the inside of there, just a door with a full window, a full glass. I mean, it'll give some light, but if you knew how that area was, you kind of need to open it up a little bit. Cause I can't do, a sink, you know how most kitchens, they have their sink and maybe a window above the sink to bring in light, and maybe some, like a patio door or something to kind of bring light in. There's no option, for that. I mean, but then I would be rearranging all of the plumbing, and I don't even want to do that. It's gonna be very expensive where the kitchen sink and stuff will sit.
I would like to add a suggestion that when you resubmit your drawings and all that, to maybe include a picture, because I'm a visual learner, so I would be able to see like what you're visioning for
Okay.
why you want a specific door.
Okay.
Okay, can we have a second to Larry's motion?
I'll second.
All in favor? Opposed? Thank you, Ken.
Madam
You're
President,
gonna get it right. We're gonna get it right. You're gonna get it right.
Okay.
I'm telling you, wait till you finish. Wait till I'm finished. You guys are gonna love my building, my home rather.
Madam President,
Yes,
may I speak?
yes.
I would just think it might be appropriate at this time to remind the petitioner applicant that the meeting for November may be a different date than the
Yes,
fourth Monday.
In November and December, we're meeting on the third Monday because of the holiday.
Okay, November.
So it'd be November the
We're,
18th.
well, we are gonna need to discuss that because the 21st is probably gonna work better, with Drew, for November, because the 18th, there's already a few meetings that are happening that
You
night.
will be notified.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
Thank you for coming.
And can I just ask, do we have like a list of architects or designers that we can recommend to people they can call?
It would have to come
Yeah.
through
us.
Deb because I
Indiana
can't, yeah,
Arts
because
does.
the city can't recommend.
All right, so Deb, does she know how to contact you? Where did she go?
She's
Oh, she's-
gone.
She's got my email.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yep.
So, but that we can, in the future, we can say that,
They can contact me for a
Okay.
list of architects.
All right,
Yeah.
good.
And several people that have come before you have done that. Terry with that porch on, is that 8th Street?
Yeah, yes, it's 8th Street.
Yeah. She used an architect that came off our list and I thought that turned out quite nicely. It's almost finished, I think. So.
thank you.
Mhm. Okay, moving on to the next one is COA 2024-131 for 519 Washington. This is John Conrath is the owner. It's in the Washington Street Local and Haskell and Barker National Register Historic Districts, rated contributing. We've reviewed this for numerous things in the past. This time we are looking at removing that rear wood porch. So the blue-gray part, now that's block over to the right side. So it's in poor condition and they would like to remove that in order to finish installing the previously approved new siding. So the finding of fact, the enclosed porch is not original to the building and is in poor condition. The porch is at the rear of the building. Motions approval as submitted. Any future porch or enclosure will need a separate approval.
I make a motion to approve COA 2024-131. Address 519 Washington Street.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Okay, next COA. Seems like my staff report. Okay, it's 2024-132. Katie Stein is the applicant. The property is at 923 East Michigan Boulevard in the Elston Grove Local and National Historic Districts, rated contributing, built around 1900. And there are many, many parts to this proposal. So we have 9 things listed here: replacing the non-historic front and back doors, Repair, replace the fascia and trim with in-kind materials. Paint decorative shingles in the gables and trim. Proposed colors are Sherwin-Williams 2818, Renwick Heather 2812, Rookwood Jade, and Benjamin Moore HC Crimson Red. Rebuild the bathroom addition at the rear of the house. Install wood corner boards to repair the corner edges of asbestos siding. Install new vinyl basement windows. Repair and replace the wood door cover to the basement and secure with a lock. Repair or replace the rear garage. Approve chain link fence that borders the street. Remove. I said approve, I think, didn't I? I didn't mean that. We don't want the chain link fence. I'm sorry.
No.
Remove chain link fence that borders the street. Install dog ear privacy fence beginning behind or at the front door entrance for the property. So we get into the lengthy recommendations here. So the finding of fact, all in-kind repair replacements meet the historic district guidelines. The paint colors are from the pre-approved color palette or an equivalent. The existing front and back doors are not historic. The proposed replacements are appropriate material and style. The historic windows have been replaced with vinyl windows, so vinyl basement windows could be considered. The earliest Sanborn maps show an outbuilding at the back alley, although it is unknown if the current structure is the original structure. The garage is in poor condition, too small for modern use, and has no character defining features. The back bathroom structure is at the rear and not original to the house. Being at the rear, it could be removed and replaced using modern materials. Wood corner boards would be difficult to retrofit over the asbestos siding. Salvage siding from the back bathroom removal could possibly be used to replace broken siding on the house. Removal of chain link fence meets historic district guidelines. Installation of rear wood dog-eared privacy fence behind the front door entrance meets the historic district guidelines. So recommended motions: approval of door replacements, soffit and fascia repair and replacement, painting of decorative shingles and trim, replacement of the wood door to the basement, removal of the chain link fence, and installation of a wood privacy fence. Secondly, approval of the removal of the existing bathroom addition at the rear and rebuilding of the structure using modern materials with the condition of final approval of materials and design by staff. Then denial of the wood corner boards. We have actually talked about this, so
Thank you.
this is not news, but that's just addressing what was on the initial application. Use salvage siding from the removal of the bathroom addition for repairs, if possible. Approval of the new basement windows sized to match the existing openings. Vinyl could be approved to match the other windows on the house. And finally, approval of removal of the garage with condition of final approval of design and materials by staff.
Are there any questions? Do you have any concerns or questions for us?
No, we're gonna, well, I think, the siding on the structure in the back where we rebuild the bathroom, there's a GAF siding that looks like the asbestos siding, so we'll use that as well, so it'll all be cohesive. No, it hasn't been inhabited since 2006, that's when the water was on, so there's, just trying to make it look nice. So.
Any questions from the board? Can we have a motion?
Regarding COA 2024-132, address 923 East Michigan Boulevard. Recommend or a motion to approve the recommended motions by staff as presented, A, B, C, D, and E, noting that C is a denial of the wood counterboards. The other parts are approved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have fun.
Oh, it's all, the inside's already demoed and then we're ready to go, so. I don't know if I don't like to waste my time. Thank you. Have a good night. You too.
Okay, finally, we come to COA 2024-133. Applicant is Dan Bilsma. Probably said that wrong. I'm sorry. The property is 323 East 10th Street. It is rated non-contributing. The proposed project is replacing all existing windows with vinyl windows. Finding of fact, there are currently 8 vinyl and 4 wood windows. And to be honest, I don't know which is which because this came in after I came and made my site visit. So can you tell us which are the
Yeah.
wood?
So everything on the back is wood. But those, I didn't include the whole porch area in the total of wood windows. So all of
So
those
the
are,
one on either side of the porch.
yeah, so that's wood. All of
The
that
one on the other side.
wood.
And then there's a single, there was one that looked like wood. to
Yes,
me.
it was wood.
Um,
Keep,
Try this.
is there, yeah, so that's wood.
There.
And then with the next picture. That one's wood, that's also on the back,
So they're all on the back or the side. I don't,
back side,
what
and
is
then the,
considered the front? Towards
uh,
10th Street or
yeah,
towards the
10th.
side street?
towards tenth, well, it's a corner lot, so
Yeah.
technically there's
Yeah,
2 fronts.
That's true.
So, is there any more pictures? No, that's it. Okay, so in your packet, the first picture, that is 10th Street, and then
10th is on the left or the right?
the right. The right, and then
Yes.
I don't know if this is Cedar? Is that, no, I don't think
That
that's,
doesn't sound right.
Is it pine?
What's the next one beyond?
yeah, what's after Cedar?
Lafayette.
It's, I mean, it's not a through street. Lafayette is a through street. It's,
Huh. At any rate, the front, I mean, the address is 10th Street.
Correct.
And those 2 little windows that we're seeing in this first picture on the right-hand
Mhm.
side of this picture are actually the front facade. There is no
Yes.
door on the front facade. There's no
Correct.
entrance on the front facade.
correct.
And the windows that are wood are on the opposite side from these 2 little windows. So
Yes.
they're in the back of the house.
Mhm.
It is cedar.
It
It
is,
is cedar. Okay. All right. Good job.
Thanks, Larry.
So anyways, let me finish reading before we discuss further. I just was questioning which windows were which. So the vinyl windows can be replaced with vinyl. Wood windows should be repaired unless they're determined to be deteriorated beyond repair. So the recommendation is approval of replacing the vinyl windows with new vinyl windows and a 30-day extension on the wood windows to determine their condition.
Are there any questions? Do we have a motion?
Referencing COA 2024-133, property address 323 East 10th Street. Motion to approve the staff recommendation of approving the vinyl windows with new vinyl windows and providing a 30-day extension regarding the wood windows to determine their condition at that time, requesting petitioner to provide the information.
Do we have a second?
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Thank you. You're on.
you want me to read off the maintenance reviews? Okay.
Well, what does the board, how does the board feel?
Well, this board member is going on vacation in the morning and I have to pack, so.
Are
yeah.
they all approved?
Yeah, they're all approved. They all meet our design guidelines.
Well, we have the printed reports
Mhm.
with approval statements there, so I recommend the
We trust
commission
time.
just review those in writing and appreciate the staff's work and
Mhm.
preparation and diligence of getting all this done.
Okay.
Thank you, Dan. Okay. We're going to certificates of appropriation in progress.
So I think I don't have anything written and because of, well, I don't know if you want to talk, talk about the conference at some point. But in terms of in terms of one of our COAs in progress, would be 519 Washington. They recently have finished, I think, the installation of the new windows as well as the siding. So that is in progress. It's looking good so far. The decorative element to some degree around the windows has been retained. It's not the original, but it gives a general idea of what it historically looked like.
Any committee reports? Old tabled business. I have gotten questions about 8th Street, about a house that's just off the boulevard that they have not cleaned up the dumpster or any of the grounds around it. People wanting to know what's going on there. And I know Dwayne was going to bring that up tonight, but since he couldn't be here.
We're still waiting on them to clean it up. They have the permission from the board. They have the approvals of the dumpster. So I don't know quite what's going on either with the property owner or the contractor who is supposed to be doing the work.
Mr. Hale, any question or anything that you can tell us what we could do about this property was supposed to be just tearing off a back part of the house. They tore the whole house down because they found a hole in the foundation. So they had a dumpster there. I think one dumpster was emptied and they've had another one there for almost 2 months with no cleaning up of any of the. So what, as the Historic Preservation Board, what can we do about that?
I would ask this question. Did they have a permit for the demolition?
No.
No, but they eventually after
Fact.
the fact, they did receive a permit for demolition.
Or a partial demolition.
Yeah, partial.
Was the demolition described as the whole house or was it described as the rear of the house?
The rear. The original was the rear.
Yes.
Yeah, and then they did receive a fine because they didn't come to Kyle or the planning department to say what they did.
They received a fine from the building department.
Correct.
As you know, your enforcement possibilities are limited. I'll look into it a little bit, but what I would recommend for now that you could do would be to vote and approve a recommendation to the planning department that this matter be investigated and if possible enforced, and let them use the building department powers to enforce this. Or to enforce what was approved and then disregard. But I would strongly recommend, if you follow that suggestion, that you make it by way of a motion.
Can I have a motion?
I have a motion to refer the matter to the building department or planning department for further investigation.
Could you add both the past COA, there must have been one, right? And that number and
And
the
the-
address of the property to your motion?
It would be 515 East 8th Street. I don't have the COA
motion
number
to,
off the top of my head.
Approve and have the planning department investigate the matter regarding 515
East 8.
East 8th Street.
And take appropriate
And take appropriate action as
penalty action.
penalty action as needed.
All right, do I have a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
Opposed? Thank you. Thank you, Steve. And then the other one, and it's in the next block down, is on the same side of the street. They're working on the front of the house with, I don't know what they're doing. I pick up for the lady for church that lives right next door, and she asked me if I knew what they were doing. It's a lady that owns the house. I'll have to get you the address, but it's on East 8th also. We did approve. She's got the beautiful gingerbread up and all kinds of things they're doing. But now they're doing something on the front with making a peak. And I have no idea. They work on the weekends. But I will call you if that's all right, Kyle.
Yes, let me know so I can do some investigation if
Okay.
it's something
I
that,
don't mean to give you more work, but
no, it's fine. I mean, it's
when
part of
people
my job.
ask, we
Yeah,
have to. Okay,
we do.
something, yeah. Is there any new business to come before us? We talked and written here is update on getting the word out in the historic district. And I know Patsy has two friends that are real estate agents and they have brought those to their meetings. And that's kind of where we're at right now.
Yes.
The other thing that was recommended we could do is maybe make something and have it put in the water department's bill. The only negative to that, when I talk to the water department, is a lot of those people don't live in Michigan City, they get the bill. So it could be a iffy proposition.
Well, the statement of purpose that we read and recited the ordinance, it applies to tenants, lessees, owners. So whomever would get the bill would still be applicable for that. So put someone on notice of some issues here. So they might pass the word, spread the word, or do something, but and those that are local would still get it as well.
So are you saying that we should prepare a statement with our purpose and put it in?
Well, some kind of a notice that we could get into the water bill. I think we started that project in the past.
But we never followed through.
Commissioner Coulter had prepared some drafts and so forth, so I don't know if we still have that or
Deadlines.
we can locate that and then get final approval and then try to submit it to the water department for submission.
Does that sound agreeable with everybody? I will contact Greg and see what he has. And then I will contact the water department and find out what it would cost. And then I'll report it at the next meeting if that's okay.
I don't remember if I've mentioned this before. I have friends who are realtors and I called upon her to ask, I wanted to know if there was anything on the seller's disclosure. Every seller has to sign one and has to fill it out. And I believe, if you're located in a historical district, that should be a check mark on that seller disclosure. There is not a line item for that. However, there is for HOAs. So I don't know if there's any way that, if and when we ever do get in front of the realtors, if we can address that as a way of, when they list the home should say in all big, capital letters that this home is in a historic district and has, covenants and bylaws or whatever that it, you have to abide by. same as an HOA, correct? So I don't know if we go to the state. I don't know if every seller disclosure in Indiana states the same thing, or if it's a county kind of thing. But I feel like that's maybe a way to really get to the realtors, because they absolutely have to have every seller sign a seller disclosure, and on a seller disclosure, you know, every item that could be a problem or a whatever, or not a problem, but just a line item stating that it's there or it isn't there. You know, do you have central air? Do you have a fireplace? Do you have an HOA, or are you in a historic district? So I feel like if we could get that over that hump, we might have a little more luck with realtors expressing to sellers and buyers, and we won't have folks coming up and telling us they have no idea that they're in a historic district and for any amount of time,
Which
you
we
know,
had for quite a while.
right?
I like that. I like that idea as well. Also, have we thought about mailers, sending out information to residents that live in historical districts? Like, I feel like we talked about that with the mayor, but maybe we didn't.
Actually, Dwayne, we were talking about it at the last meeting, and right, Larry, did you reach out to Martha, or no? Was it Dwayne that was going to reach out to Martha Most of the Elston Grove? Okay, because they were having their meeting, I think it was October 19th, and she invited us. I don't know if Dwayne went. Dwayne probably went because Dwayne's in that district, but he's not here. So, but anyways, I know that was another one. Like, they have their own meetings. So they should definitely have flyers and, you know, come to the meetings. This is what this is about. Every mailbox in that district should have that information. So anyhow,
So
okay.
I don't know, I don't know who we could talk to. Maybe I could reach out to Greg as well and ask him, you know, how we could spread that word. Because I know I check my mail every day, so I'm sure everybody checks their mail. And if, you know, they see that we have a meeting with dates and times and stuff like that, then they'll be able to come hear us out and see what we're about. So, yeah, I can work on that as well.
Okay, I'll rely on you, Tony, Anthony, I'm sorry, to get a hold of Greg and find out if he has already something in place, then we can use that. But if you report at the next meeting, so appreciate that.
And if he doesn't, I do have some great samples from other commissions that they've used: letters, postcards. Postcards are kind of the thing at the moment. They're cheaper and people tend to look at them. They don't always open the letter, but they often will glance at a postcard. And it's got some really concise information and good graphics.
You'll read
It's
it.
just a matter of funding that little project. So
Could you bring some?
I could bring some samples next month, and I will reach out to my colleagues around the state because I know it is a statewide issue on the disclosure. And I need to find out how we can make that happen.
I agree.
Who we need to talk to, because that's a problem that we're all suffering with. So let me
Well,
see what I can find out
okay.
about that.
And then I in turn will, my girlfriend, we talked, she'd love to have us, you know, at a luncheon or something. So if someone would be willing to do it with me, like Larry, maybe, you know, we could get in front of the realtors and just say what needs to be said. I mean,
Just read what we have here too.
right, exactly. Well, that's what I'm saying. It just spread the word.
Mr. Hale, is that something you could check for us too, if the state would allow us to do that individually, or is that something that has to be approved by the state before we could do that?
I don't know the precise answer, but I did actually write down my own notes to look into that as well, so I'll be happy to do that.
Well, thank you. We didn't mean to have you go out of here with more than you came in with, but
I'm
We
going to give the
appreciate-
response that Kyle gave. That's my job.
thank you. We appreciate that.
Then I would ask, I don't know if maybe Kyle could look into, see if we can get a count for how many, or maybe you already know how many properties our addresses are in the
I-
historic districts?
I had a count from, I was able to query last year, but obviously homes have probably been bought and sold since then, but
But
I'm
not
sure.
who they are, but just how many addresses for example, if we send a mailing out or if we put something in the,
Yeah, I could probably get you a
I
number.
mean, how many envelopes we'd have to print or something like that, just.
But that number might be different because there's kind of like how we had tonight, one of our applicants owns multiple buildings in the
Yeah.
historic district, so that number
Mhm.
might be
Something
slightly off,
approximate,
but
get some idea for
approximately,
budgeting purposes.
yes. Absolutely.
Regardless, Angie, or Mayor Nelson Deutsch said she would take care of the payment for that mailer. So we have, we have the ability to do it.
Mhm.
So.
Perfect.
Does anyone have any other questions for tonight? Do I have a motion?
We've still got the backside.
Oh, geez. We didn't know we had a back.
We have a backside. So
Okay.
CLG discussion. So a couple things that I need as I'm working on this, trying to get around to get that certified local government designation, which I was reminded again how important that is as I went to preservation conference and sat through camp and saw all these people that got to go for free because their communities are CLGs. So it's absolutely worth it. Plus the extra opportunity for grants is good. So I really think it's worth your effort. And for the most part, we're doing what needs to be done. So not a lot of changes, but a couple things that I noticed that we do need to know is we need to send along an adopted rules of procedure, including a binding code of conduct with our application. And we have a very old rules of procedure, like from 1998, that Dan went through and highlighted all the times they used review board. And I don't know if did we update that?
I'm not aware of any
Not sure we
current
did.
document. I mean, I think it would be a good idea to revisit and update. So then we have something on
feel like we
the
should.
books.
There's of this, nobody does. Nobody does. This is just one I printed off, I carried around because I've got Kendallville's going through the same procedure. So I'm kind of trying to move both places ahead at the same time. So another thing I found was a document from Pre-Kyle.
Mhm.
That's, yes, it's called, let's see if I get to the top of it. Policies and Procedures for Historic Preservation Commission Workshop and Public Hearings. And you guys, well, the ones that were on the board at the time, did approve that document. But it kind of crosses over with the rules of procedure a little bit. It's not fleshed out nearly enough to be a standalone rules of procedure. So I'm just wondering if we have time at the next meeting, if I brought all these different documents and sent them to you ahead of time, if you could review those and maybe we can just kind of make one concise document out of
And
all this
maybe,
stuff.
and maybe have it approved either for the December or maybe
Yes.
So,
maybe give us until January. So then I think
yeah, I
staff
was just
has
gonna
the
say,
ability to kind of review a more condensed version, and as well as then by the new year, we would have a new document that we all can vote on, as well as that staff has the ability to have the time to look at and make
Yeah.
sure that it has everything that this board
That it should
needs and should have moving forward.
that work.
And that would probably be something that Mr. Hill would work
Mhm.
with.
so I have a question. Would there be a day in the near future where we all could maybe do a working day where we
We could
don't,
do a workshop.
yeah, or like a work
Mhm.
where we don't have public comment and
Yeah,
stuff
we
like
could
that,
do
where
a
we can
workshop.
Do a workshop.
etch that out, collectively get our ideas,
Mhm.
and then
That would
present it
be
maybe
Great.
at the, not December, but the January meeting.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And that way, start off the new year fresh.
I
like
mean,
that.
yeah, I mean, December's always dicey just because of holidays. But probably earlier
Mhm.
earlier, probably in December, we want to have it ready by January would probably be a good idea. I mean, November is coming up quite quickly, as well as we do have a few holidays in November. So I mean, these next 2 months are gonna hit hard and fast.
So maybe we could all look at our schedules and then on an email chain and see what day works best for all of us. And
Are we talking a Saturday?
Oh,
I
Either
would do a
s-
Saturday because my
Yeah.
Saturdays are quite busy with my volunteer work, but any day, I mean, again, that works for all of us would be.
we just have to make sure that there's a room that is open,
Mhm.
as well as that we have the ability to have it recorded
Mhm.
to make sure that staff is available at those times.
It would be nice if we could do it on a Monday.
Sorry.
All right, well then if everyone could maybe come up with 3 dates,
Mhm.
okay, so that our next meeting,
Are we allowed to operate via Zoom? Is that possible?
he's shaking his head yes.
Maybe then we could figure out a day, still come up with 3 days that work best for all of us, then maybe hop on a Zoom.
That's true. Yeah.
That would save getting a place,
Mhm.
and we could give everyone an agenda or an
I mean, we would probably,
In that way, and it still could be recorded and.
I mean, it would still be it would be a public workshop, so I would probably still create an agenda of what we're gonna talk about, and I'm gonna have it, and it would be posted just like our meetings would be, but it would be a workshop, a public workshop.
So we need 3 dates and 3 times from everybody. And I will get a hold of Patsy and Dwayne and Greg with the dates. Anything else that I need to do for that?
Could you just start an email, then just ask for that?
Your mic.
Could you just start that as an email to all of us and then let everybody reply to all? And we can narrow it down that way.
Yes. Don't expect it tomorrow, but I will. Okay, anything else we need to talk about?
One other thing on the CLG, and because we were holding our breath and we were gonna have quorum tonight. One thing that they really look at in the review is whether or not you have some of the professionals that are listed in their CLG regulations on your board. And if you don't, you can apply for a waiver, but that has something to do with the fact that there are none available in the town.
Yeah.
So architects, historic, what do I want to say, architectural historians, the county historian is in the court, so that's not going to help us. He's on their commission.
We can't suck it.
No, we
No.
cannot take him here. So we need to really think about some of those people that might be qualified.
I mean, as well as kind of moving forward, we do have 2 open spots as ordinance that still need to be filled with certain people in the community that meet certain criteria that we haven't had.
Would Josh, is it McIntyre? Would he?
From the Lighthouse
Mhm.
Museum, he technically actually lives in the county, so that's not gonna work.
And they have to live in the city limits.
I've had that discussion.
Here's
And
what they're looking
If
for.
you'd come forward if you need to speak.
Here's what they're looking for. To the extent available within the community, the local commission shall include professional members from the disciplines of architecture, history, architectural history, preservation planning, archaeology, or other historic preservation related disciplines such as urban planning, American studies, art history, cultural geography, or cultural anthropology. So that just gives you some ideas. So something for us to think about since we actually have a couple vacancies.
I'm Christine Schneider. I've been here several times because I've been trying to get on the board. So that's why I came forward. I have a master's in interior design, I have specialization in historic preservation, undergraduate degrees in humanities, religious studies. I mean, I have an MBA in finance and information systems management. And I live inside the city limits.
Can we
How
get
do you
her
spell your
information?
last name?
SCHNEIDER. And I filled out the mayor's application a long time ago. What?
You never heard back?
Nope, never heard a thing. I need to know if I'm looking for something in my personal email sometimes because we're all
Yeah,
crowded with spam.
she's been pretty busy. So I would recommend calling and like seeing if you could get some time to talk to her. Call up to City Hall.
Yeah, sure, I can do that. I didn't want to be super aggressive about it, so, but I can.
Could
I was
you,
busy too, but I will.
could you give me your phone number?
Sure, it's 917. Well, is this being recorded?
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm like,
Afterwards.
afterwards.
Okay, thank you. I thought your face looked familiar sitting
Mhm.
back there, but I wasn't sure. We have a bigger room now, so we can see better.
nice. I know, because I went to the other one.
Oh,
Oh,
The
yeah,
Website said
yeah.
we're still there.
Yeah.
we need to change the website.
Yeah, I'm
saw-
still waiting on them updating it.
Yeah, I was just about that thing.
It's, yeah,
The city is.
it's a process. Plus, we're probably gonna be getting a new website, so to update it, we're in kind of a transitional period, so it makes it hard to be willing to update the old website when we're gonna be getting rid of it.
True.
So how many seats do we have open?
Two.
Two, so we need to have 9 people, and I think currently we have 7.
Yes.
Okay, so she's gonna be number 8. And then, what are the other?
So the other ones would be an architect
Mhm.
as well as a contractor who does work with historic
Sure.
materials,
Okay.
which has been a struggle to
Mhm.
get someone who lives in the city, works in the historic district.
That might not even exist.
Well,
Right,
what about
not-
the guy that did the renovation for the Barker Mansion?
Chris Gross and Nikki would be good.
I don't have their contact information to
Okay,
even start.
we'll
that.
work on that.
Yeah, I'll see if they have any interest in anything like that. It might be.
You have anything else for us?
That's all on the CLG. I've got tons of notes from conference, but as you could see, we don't want to go there tonight. That's long. It did remind me of things so that we really need to talk about, especially during camp. They talked a lot about making defensible motions,
Mhm.
proper procedure, and that definitely helps having the city attorney here. I really
Well-
appreciate that. That helps keep us on the straight and narrow, but it's good if you also, it just comes naturally to do what you're supposed to do. So I think that's something we want to review in the future. They had a long session on alternative materials that was really good. Yeah, those are probably the biggest things. Meeting procedures, defensible motions, and alternative materials. And some of that stuff, actually, there are videos that I can access from the National Alliance of Preservation Commissions because I've signed up for them myself. I can turn around and use them free of charge. So that might be something we consider maybe in the winter when
Mhm.
Lord willing, things are a little quieter.
Yes.
And maybe we could come like a half hour early or something and listen to one of those or an hour earlier.
Could those be used as our continuing
Absolutely,
education?
yes.
Because I think we're
Yes.
still a little shy.
Yes,
the
absolutely.
year.
So, yes. So maybe we can sneak one in November, December. That
And
would
if,
be
if
good.
we knew what we would play,
Mhm.
and are they like a half hour long or something like that?
I'm going to have to shorten them a little bit. They're all about an hour,
Okay.
actually. So, but I
But-
think I could,
But if we could announce it publicly, and if it's possible to play them
that's true.
publicly, we could invite the public to come
Absolutely.
join early to
Yes.
watch and get some information.
Especially the alternative materials one, so that they have some understanding of when and why we approve certain items and not use others. That was a really good session. So, yeah, I would consider that. And then finally, just an advertisement, LaPorte Historic Preservation Commission is sponsoring a hazardous materials workshop. So that's lead paint and mold and asbestos. And so that's going to be my colleague, Paul Hayden, used to be me here in Michigan City once upon a time, if you've been on the commission long enough to remember Paul. He's going to be presenting that. He's very down to earth, very enjoyable. That will be at the LaPorte County Public Library Exchange Building at 807 Indiana. It's at 10 o'clock on Saturday morning, November 9th, and I will send you all a link to the notice for that. So, and one final thing, you have to take one of these. So I did this at the end of the meeting, so nobody thinks I'm bribing anybody, but please take one, pass them down. Do not ever say to your son who drives truck that you like these because he was at the factory. We got one left. We can toss it down.
I don't think the thank you lawyers.
So I have 25 pounds of Baby Ruth candy bars. So
that's awesome.
Be blessed.
Anything else that needs to come?
In terms of the dates for the next 2 months, just because where Thanksgiving and Christmas fall every year, we're changing those days. And after talking with Drew, the dates that work for him will be November the 21st. And for December the 19th.
Are those Mondays?
Thursdays.
They're Thursdays.
Oh,
because
and
those
not the
Monday.
regular,
No,
25th?
because there's already meetings on those.
But that's a regular meeting that we would normally have, so why would it be conflicting?
We would have to,
We're changing.
we have to change them because the meeting for November would be getting pretty close to Thanksgiving.
Well, it's Monday before Thanksgiving. So why not meet on a regular night?
Are you going to be gone? So
I probably will be.
how does everyone feel about that?
I will not be here on November 21st.
If we,
I'm biased for
Maybe
the week of
Todd
the
could be.
25th because it's my birthday week. But I would. So wait, Deb, you said you won't be here on
It
the
won't be,
the-
no,
21st?
no.
Right.
We
And
can't.
Kyle won't be here either.
Todd may be able to come in my place. I don't know. I'd have to
And
ask.
Kyle, you won't be here.
well, if, I'm trying to think if we were to keep
What
I don't know what the November
25th would be the normal meeting.
25th would be the normal meeting.
Yeah, it's a regular day. Why change it?
We can,
Will you be here, Kyle?
if I'm not, I can Zoom, I can come
Okay.
in by Zoom. Okay, we can keep, what day was that?
25?
25,
November
okay,
25th. So that's the fourth month.
It's a Monday,
okay,
regular day.
okay. So we can do that. Then we'll keep that one the same then.
And what about December?
And then for December.
You said December. What day works?
I was proposing the 19th, because I think this one will probably be getting too close to Christmas, if I could be corrected.
23rd, yeah.
Yeah, the regular would be 23. so
23rd, that
that's
is kind
pretty
of
close.
close. Yeah.
Okay. So would the 19th of December work? Because I had originally proposed the 16th, but there seems to be other meetings happening on that night, and Access LaPorte's staff would probably not be available to do that.
The 19th works for me.
19th is a Thursday. Is that agreeable?
That's the week before Christmas.
At 6 o'clock, is that
Yes.
agreeable with everybody? Okay.
Well, maybe for the majority.
All right, so our meeting next month will be on our regular date, the
Mhm.
25th. December will be on a Thursday, the 19th at 6 o'clock.
Mhm.
And I will send an email out to the people that weren't here tonight
Mhm.
so they can get it on their.
And the staff will have to announce it properly for a public meeting.
Yes, as well as I'll let the applicants know for December that it was that it's
Be a different-
that it's a different day as well as
Thank you, Kyle.
Mhm.
Anything else we need to vote on tonight? Do we have a motion?
Motion to adjourn?
All in favor?
Aye.
Yep.